Hey yo, what up boys? It's your boy Prob. I'm gonna show you guys something crazy that happened. I tilted a lot, but then I got 10 wins in a row on ladder. I mean, yes, there's other games in between, but like this is the last loss that I got. It was like about 2 hours ago. Then I started just winning and winning. So I'm gonna show you all 10 games in a row that I have won. I am in fact in the top 1k right now. So yeah, I managed to get back, and I'm gonna show you now how we got back. Let's start with the first one, which is the classic P.E.K.K.A bridge spam. As you guys know, this is a pretty good matchup. This is a pretty good matchup for Mortar Bay. I'm gonna just skip over the dead parts so we don't take 3 hours for this. But yes, pretty standard start here. I have Knight in cycle for his ghost, which is like the best thing ever. Because when you don't have Knight in cycle, this matchup just flips around entirely. They can just pressure you with ghost and you have to waste like 10 billion elixir for it. But yeah, he does a very nice pressure here with all these troops. And I'm kind of a little overwhelmed. I still managed to defend a little bit, but as you can see, he gets like a lot of damage through his bandit because, well, he kinda caught me with my pants down, so to speak. So yeah, I went for a little push as well with a Skelly Barrel, but since I couldn't support it due to his immense pressure, I am now 1000 HP behind. It's still very winnable because this matchup is like pretty good as long as I don't lose my tower and you know, he still has his tower standing. I should be completely fine. It's just about, like, it's less about the tower HP in this matchup and more about controlling the cycle. Like, you want to always have your knight in cycle for his ghost, and you always want to have, you know, either a log or a fireball for his magic archer. In that case, I kind of missed my log because I didn't hit both the barbs and the magic archer, but I still hit the tower, so it's like 100 damage. It's still pretty good. Since the magic archer ended up dying anyway from the second mortar shot. Here I think I defend both of those with just one knight, which is, you know, the right move to do. And what I'm trying to do here is pretty much just overwhelm with a mortar while not completely selling out on offense. Like, if you see, I always try to have at least 4 elixir in my hand, so that if he rushes me opposite lane, I don't get caught with my pants down again, you know? I'm gonna go with a Skelly Barrel here. It's the best way to apply pressure without, you know, putting stuff in the poison. And here I need a knight and a gang. One for the ghost and one for the battle ram. Luckily I logged there because otherwise that zap would have made the battle ram connect, I'm pretty sure. And here I go for another push. He should have poisoned here, I think, but well, maybe not, because then my mortar would have connected. I don't know, I'm not a P.E.K.K.A bridgeman player, but I'm pretty sure like he could have defended this in some way. Still fine, we get a lot of damage, so now I have the damage lead, because as you can see, it's very hard for him to defend. So like he wants to be always attacking. If you're playing P.E.K.K.A bridgeman and you're going against Mortar Bay, you never want to be the one defending, you always want to be the one attacking. And same for the other way around, like if I defend too much, then he's gonna eventually overwhelm me. But it's a lot harder for me to get overwhelmed. So yeah, I just keep up my pressure with a mortar, and as you can see, like, if they Iwiz and you don't play anything, your mortar is just gonna die. Like, Iwiz completely counters a mortar if no other cards are played. But if you just play like Spear Goblins, like I did there, then you get a mortar connection and he's just dead. So that was the first match, pretty good matchup, can't complain about it. Luckily I won. This second one is E-Golem, E-Barbs. It's also a pretty good matchup, but the difference between this and P.E.K.K.A Bridge Spam is that they can take your whole tower in like half a second. If you get caught with your pants down, like I did, you know, at the start of that other match, I would have just lost my tower here. I wouldn't have just been behind by 1000 damage. Also, I know that it's weird to say getting caught with your pants down. I'm gonna stop saying it. It's just like, I can't really think of any other way of saying it. Like, getting caught off guard. Yes, that sounds less awkward. Getting caught off guard. I should have just said that to begin with. But yes, we have a pretty normal exchange here. By this point, I'm not sure if he has Golem or E-Golem or, you know, E-Giant maybe. But now he showed me his E-Giant, so I go for a defensive mortar. I could have tried to pressure a little bit opposite lane, but you really don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that because they're gonna, you know, pressure like everything on the other lane, just ignore the damage that you're trying to put out, and they're just gonna win out of that. You also want to DPS the golem down as quickly as possible so that you can get the elixir from it, because you're definitely gonna need the elixir. And yeah, this knight was very good because it still allowed the E-Drag to get in range of the tower. This mortar was very bad though, because he still had Inferno Dragon in cycle, and I couldn't even have gone for prediction Goblin Gang on that Inferno Dragon because he had Bomber in cycle as well. So, you know, just a bad mortar. I should have just not played that mortar. It's fine though, as long as I don't allow him to get like very ahead of Elixir or just build an immense push, I should be fine. So yeah, here I go for a Fireball. Luckily he plays a healer into it, but even if he didn't, that Fireball would have been good, because then it means that I don't have to answer the E-Drag. I still have to answer the healer though, so I put some Spear Gulps down, because it's the cheapest option. And by this point, I think I'm just gonna try to set up a defense. Instead of trying to push, what you really want to do is make them walk into you, you know? So the mortar just is just there not to take the tower, but to force him to play something, anything. Like even that Inferno Dragon, it might have looked like a good exchange for him, but actually it wasn't, because it's just giving value to my Musketeer. Since I already had a Musketeer down, that mortar was a very good mortar. If I didn't already have a Musketeer down, that would have been a very bad mortar. But the best thing ever there is that Fireball. You know what? Maybe that deserves a little bit of a rewind. So look at this Fireball really well. I time it perfectly so that it hits the second stage of the E-Golem, and that is perfect, because then we get a lot of elixir and I can just get an infinite counter push here. You stack Musketeers, they can't do anything, even if he arrows, even if he, like, you know, puts a bomber down, like literally anything that he would have played here would have made him lose. As soon as I played that Fireball, I already won, pretty much, because I already have 2 Musketeers on the field, and once you have 2 Musketeers on the field and they can't remove them, like a double spell or something, then you already won, pretty much. So yeah, that was the second match against the E-Golem. Pretty good one. So we got 2 good matchups in a row. Now for the third one. Yeah, those are just war, I think, so those don't count. I don't count them for the win streak. We are 2 wins in a row right now. Now it's the third win in a row, and this is another very good matchup. This is probably like one of the easiest matchups in the game. I want to say it's the easiest matchup in the game, actually, but you can still lose against it. It's not like 100-0 for me. It's more like, yeah, I would say like 80-20 for me. So like it's like super good matchup. Better than E-Golem, better than P.E.K.K.A Bridge Spam. It's probably even better than Classic Bait, actually. I don't know if it's easier than Prince Bait, though. I feel like Prince Bait is even easier than this. But yeah, the reason this match is so easy is because they cannot break through. Like, look at this. I had the worst exchange ever, but still, like, look how much damage he got. That is not that much. Especially considering he doesn't have spells. In this game, in this match, as long as you have, like, even 1 HP more than them in your tower, you can just play defense, because they cannot spell cycle you at all. They don't have any damage dealing spells. Their only spell is the Bar Barrel, and that does not reach your tower. So yeah, against the 3 Musketeers deck, which is like the only 3 Musketeers deck, to be honest, like nobody's running 3 Musketeers other than this deck. It's a pretty good one, but it doesn't work against Mortar Bait, because I have so many ground troops. I have Musketeer to deal DPS to everything that he puts down, and I have Knight, Spear Goblins, and Goblin Gang to distract everything he puts down. So I can just DPS all the E-Barbs, I can just DPS the Ghost, I can DPS the Bandit, and even when they try to break through with the 3 Musketeers, I might show it in this match, but the best answer is to just play a barrel into them. You just play a Skeleton Barrel, and they're gonna start shooting it, it's gonna pop on top of them, so that's already a little bit of damage, but the real deal is the Skellies. All the Skellies will just kill the Musketeers and distract them at the same time. So yeah, usually you want to fireball the pumps, but it's not like you always have to fireball the pumps kind of deal. Because sometimes you just want to ignore a pump and try to get like 2000 damage on their tower, if the situation allows for it. It's like the safest option is to fireball the pumps, But if you can like take their tower down, just take their tower down. You don't need to waste your fireball on a pump. Just start spamming stuff at the bridge. Because as long as you have a musketeer to support it, they can't really uh, break through your mortar at the bridge. So as you can see, I went for that barrel thing that I was talking about there, and they could not break through at all. Here I think I do that thing that I said, where I don't fireball the pump immediately. I just try to break through with a mortar, and the nice thing about it is that you can still fireball the pump. As long as the pump didn't get more than 2 elixir out of it, then you're still not wasting any value at all, because even if you fireball the pump, it's still gonna always get 2 elixir. It's pretty much it's a zero trade, like you don't get any elixir from it, you just get a little tower damage from it. Because like they spend 6 elixir, they get 2 back, and you spend 4 elixir. So you both basically spent 4 elixir, and you just got a little tower damage out of it. That's why it's like a neutral trade, yes, that's what I would call it, a neutral trade. When you can go for mortars like this, always go for it. When you, like they basically sell out everything on offense and they can't distract your mortar, because it's always gonna get like at least one shot. You can use the mortar as a sacrificial dummy here. Since they don't have any building targeting troops, you don't really need the mortar for defense anyway. You only need the mortar for defense in this matchup when they're building like a huge push with 3 musketeers and stuff, because you're gonna need the DPS from it and the splash from it. But yeah, as you can see, like he can spam everything. He can even ignore all my damage to like try to spam more. But as long as I have 1 musketeer down, I can just distract everything, keep the musketeer alive, and they can never break through. So yeah, pretty easy matchup. I got lucky here and got 3 good matchups in a row. But I think now it starts becoming worse. So we had 3 wins in a row, and now this is a pretty bad one. Nobody's gonna run this, because this is super weird, just like Mega Knight with like minor poison. But it's not a good matchup. It's not a good matchup at all for me, because Mega Knight is kinda hard to defend, and usually the only reason that Mega Knight becomes easier is if they don't have a big spell to kill your musketeers, because then you can stack your musketeers. But this guy has poison and zap. So like poison is very bad for mortar bait, because they can get infinite value out of it. They can kill an entire musketeer with just a poison. So like fireball doesn't kill a musketeer, it leaves it on like 1 HP. But poison completely kills it. Here I went for the knight because I thought that he had a Tesla, but it turns out he had an Inferno. So the knight still got a little bit of value, but as you can see that was very bad, because now I'm kinda fucked. And this is what won me the game. Even though this is not a good matchup, I won the game through this musketeer, because I pulled the Mega Knight to the center, he wasted his zap, and now I activate the King Tower. So of course he's gonna try to get a little bit of damage here with his miner, but it's fine, I can just ignore that miner. And now I know what he's running. I know his defensive tower, it's Inferno, I know that he has Mega Knight, he basically can't catch me off guard anymore, at all. I'm gonna try to keep my Knight for his Mega Knight, and I'm gonna try to predict his Inferno towers with like Spear Gobs or Goblin Gang. So yeah, I can just like pressure with Mortar, it's pretty much the only thing I can do. And since I know that he has Inferno Tower, I can just predict it every time. Here he zapped, so I went for a Musketeer. It's not necessarily a good move, it's just that I wanted my Mortar to connect. The problem is here he can go for Mega Knight, and now I have nothing, but he didn't do it, so we're fine. I even stopped the Dark Prince with my Knight, so I get one more shot from my Mortar. And now I need to distract it more with Spear Gobs, so it doesn't reach my tower. But as you can see, I managed to get into the damage lead here, thanks to that prediction on his Inferno Tower. So like my Mortar got like either 2 or 3 shots, I'm not sure. And yeah, I just like try to pressure a little bit so he has to play something. Even though it's a +1 trade, bats for Skelly Barrel, it's still good for me to play it. I didn't predict here because he didn't have enough for the Inferno after playing his Mega Knight. And I think I distract the Mega Knight here. Yes, that's a very good move actually, because if he didn't play the Dark Prince, that Mortar would have gotten so much damage. And even now that he played the Dark Prince, I can still, defend everything very nicely. So that poison just showed why this is not a good matchup. My Musketeer just died completely, didn't even have to play a miner on top of it. Literally just had to poison, and that was it. And that's why I can't stack Musketeers here, which is usually your only answer to Mega Knight spam. Here he fucks up his poison though, so we're fine. And since my Musketeer survived, I can go for a very big pressure here. I try to keep my Muskie alive. The Muskie stays alive on 1 HP, and now I managed to stack 2 Musketeers. He had to waste his Zap on defense, and that is just GG. If you can still manage to stack Musketeers even though they have poison, well, you win. You basically just win. So yeah, here I see that it's like 2 fireballs away from dying, so I think I start fireballing already. No, I distracted the Mega Knight. That was a good call. If that Mega Knight connected to my tower, I would have kind of been fucked. But yes, now I definitely go for the fireball. Because you just need 2 fireballs to win here. So, yeah. I go for that fireball. And now I just cycle random stuff. I already won at this point, so I'm pretty much just cycling all the lowest elixir stuff that I can get. Well, not the lowest elixir. I should have cycled the lowest elixir stuff. I would have been able to, put my fireball down sooner. But it still wasn't close. Like, you can see all this stuff on my tower. I would have definitely lost if the fireball wasn't enough. But I knew that it was enough, so it wasn't risky at all. It wasn't as close as it looked there at the end. So right now we're at 4 wins in a row. And here I go against a super weird deck. It's Drill Double Prince. I've never seen this deck before. This is the first time that I face it. But, you can also say that for the last game that I played. Like, who plays Mega Knight with Inferno Tower, right? So yeah, all around, very weird decks here. But it's because I tilted out of the top 1k. So you can see some weird decks out there. I go for a pretty nice push here. I go for a Skelly Barrel and I put Spear Gobs behind it because he put a Dark Prince already, so I knew that the Spear Gobs will get value. Here I think I log, but I miss, and that was very bad. Like, I think I get a lot of damage here because I missed the half of the Skellies. Also, I don't know how that... Wasn't the tower targeting the Dark Prince there? Like, look, the tower was targeting the Dark Prince, right? Let me see that again. Oh no, I guess he wasn't. Oh, it zapped. Right. Since it zapped, the tower retargeted. Right, I was kinda pissed that Dark Prince hit my tower twice there because I thought the tower was targeting it, but it turns out it just zapped it. So yeah, not the best position right now, but also not super bad. It's just that I don't really know what this guy is running yet. I was expecting a Tesla any second, I was expecting a Valkyrie, because usually that's what you see with drill decks, but no, this guy just double prints drills. Yeah, here I think I distract the drill with my Spear Gobs, which turns out it's a pretty good move, but he zaps and they gets infinite damage. So now I'm in a very bad spot. When you're like behind on damage against drill, they can just keep spamming you and you just lose. So it's very good that the Skelly Barrel connected so that I could go back into the damage lead. I definitely don't want to be behind. I played this log a little too late, which means that I'm gonna get a spear on my tower. It's not a huge deal, but I'm like trying to understand what deck he has by this point. I'm not like very much playing optimally, I'm just like kind of in my head trying to play as passive as possible. So the most important thing that I gotta figure out here is, can I stack Musketeers? So I play a Musketeer in the back. I don't think he has shown me his Fireball yet. And now he shows me his Fireball. And he kills my Musketeer by Fireball and drilling it. Right? So that's very weird. I get a lot of damage here as a result, but now I know what deck he's running. So even though I am behind on Elixir here, I am in a much better spot because now I know his spell. And this spell is Fireball. That means I cannot stack Musketeers. The Mortar connects here, which is very nice, so I try to not make the Spirit retarget it. So the Mortar gets another shot here, we even get the death damage from the barrel, and now it's pretty much a base race. I have to get his tower, and I have to make sure that he doesn't take mine before the end of those 30 seconds. So I start logging, it's good damage. I even play a Mortar, and I didn't expect he would just give me the tower like that. So he just sells out completely on offense, and he takes my tower as a result. So I defended very bad here. I could have like logged or something, but I didn't, and as a result now he just has to zap my tower, and we're gonna go for sure in a 2-tower situation. Now here's the deal. Now I know his wall deck, and I know that I can't stack Musketeers, so how am I gonna win? I need Mortars to connect. I basically just like can only win if enough of my Mortars connect, and if I don't allow him to get a lot of defense, of defense? What the fuck is defense? Of offense. right? So, yeah. Pretty much I gotta turtle up here. I gotta just completely defend, only defend, and try to sneak in some damage while I do. I gotta keep all of my logs for his drills, so that even if he fireballs, even if he zaps, the goblins don't get damage when they come out of the drill. Because as long as you log it with the right timing, it always works. And yeah, here I did something very ballsy and very cool. I just stopped these spear goblins. Look at this. I played my mortar, it distracts it with the spear goblins, they would have split, right? But I just play my own spear goblins and my knight, so all the spear goblins die from the mortar shot, and that makes the mortar connect to the tower. You need to make like very, ballsy moves like that if you want to get damage against those decks. Because otherwise your mortars are never gonna connect, they're just gonna keep distracting them forever. And now I am like 1000 damage lead. I even logged this, I think. Yeah, that was not necessarily a good log. I just wanted my mortar to connect, but it doesn't happen because he still plays his E-Spirit. So you can see like how hard it is to get a connection here. So I think that move where I played my spear goblins on offense, so that they would not have spread out and my mortar could have killed them, I think that's what won me the game. And here you can see like the log timing. Look at this log. You have to always play logs like that on the drills, so that they don't get all the damage that they would otherwise get. So he's gonna zap this probably. Yep. He gets a lot of damage as a result, and now we're very close to the end. I need to like pretty much pressure as hard as possible so that he can't, put a lot of elixir on offense. And my mortar connects, which is huge. But even if he didn't connect, as long as I kept my log, like I used my log on offense there because my mortar connected, but if my mortar didn't connect, I would have definitely kept my log for defense. Because I need to like not get any damage as possible. We cycled to another log anyway, so he cannot get any damage. And yeah, here I was very happy. I started behamming this guy because this was not a good matchup. I don't think this was a good matchup at all. I cannot stack musketeers, his drills always get damage, and it's very hard for me to get a mortar connection. So yeah, you can see he was surprised by my win as well there. Also, definitely don't watch all this video in one go, it's gonna be super long. We're only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. We're only halfway there and it's already been like what, 20 minutes, 22 minutes? Yep. So let's go on to the next one. This is like pretty much the most classic drill deck that you're gonna see. There's this guy Asaph, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's like pretty much top 10 in the world all the time. And he uses this deck and it's super annoying, especially for Mortar Bay. I don't necessarily have a bad matchup here. Oh, I missed that log. That was a very bad log. Yeah. I don't necessarily have a bad matchup here. It's just that he can take my tower in like half a push, pretty much. He just needs to distract my stuff with his drill, and these wall breakers are gonna connect. Because these guys, these players, they just always go for drill plus wall breakers at the bridge. And if you don't have a mortar in cycle, that's so hard to defend. Like, think about it like this. Wall breakers cost 2. I need at least 4 elixir for my mortar to defend them. And the drill costs 4, and I need the 3 elixir from my goblin gang to defend it. And it's like, I basically have to always be ahead on elixir. If I'm not ahead on elixir, I lose. But yeah, this defense that I do here also works pretty well. You basically just log the drill with the right timing, and that's gonna also hit the wall breakers. So that's a pretty reliable way to defend. It's just very hard to pull off because, as you can see there, like I already missed the log, even though I tried to go for the tightest timing ever. And if I didn't play those spear gobs, the wall breakers would have connected. So this is what I mean when I say like it's not necessarily that he has a big matchup, because it's also easy for me to like try to overwhelm him. But I will say it's easier for him to overwhelm me because my defenses have to be like way more precise. So yeah, I pull off that log plus Goblin Gang defense there again. He goes for a bomber to defend my barrel, and I just let it go so that the towers get equal damage. I don't let the fire spirit go because this is like the weaker side tower, and he still has to answer my mortar anyway, so it's extra value. Like, he spent 8 elixir on that mortar. That means that I can now try to go for a counter push, especially because he doesn't have his Tesla in cycle. So he goes for offense. As long as you play your Goblin Gang like that, they're almost never gonna get it. And yeah, you can see like 2 wall breakers connect there. That's why this deck is so hard to defend. Like, as long as he plays his drill in the back like that, I cannot get that value, like, of Goblin Gang plus log. I tried to go for it, but as you can see, since the drill is in the back, there is no way for me to time it so they don't connect. I even played it later, so that it would, the drill would not get any extra value, but the wall breakers connected and the goblins didn't die. That's why it's like half a millisecond of difference just loses you the game in this matchup. And yeah, you can still defend pretty well with just a gang as long as they don't. Oh, that was bad bomber. I mean bad for me. You can like defend the drill with your goblin gang as long as they don't like fireball or zap or something else to it, like this, your supporting troops. But this deck only has fireball, it doesn't have zap. I get a good mortar connection there on the golems from the drill, so it was pretty nice. They didn't get any extra damage. It's just that I'm not in the elixir lead, and they need to be in the elixir lead, otherwise I'm gonna lose. Wait, did I say elixir? I meant damage lead. So I try to sell out on offense, and as a result I get a lot of damage done to my tower. I still log, so I get some good damage. And now the mortar is gonna kill that bomber, and I'm not sure if it connected, it probably didn't. Yeah, it didn't connect. I need a mortar to connect here, otherwise I lose. So yeah, the mortar got one hit. It's not enough though, he's still in the damage lead. He's gonna fireball my offense. And I think I go for a mortar in the middle here. That's what I will do, yes. So yeah, he distracts my mortar, so that means I can't log his bomber. But that's good because I think I need the log on defense here. Maybe not. Yeah, no, okay, I don't end up using the log on defense and still defending the drill perfectly. But this is a very bad situation. I really need one of my mortars to connect, and I can't allow him to like push even once. To like connect his wall breakers even once. So the musketeer gets a lot of value here, and I think he's gonna get even some damage. Yeah, that musketeer was very good. He killed the bomber, he killed the Valkyrie, and he ended up getting one shot on the tower as well. So if I win, it's probably because of that musketeer. I think I even log here. No, okay, I didn't need to log. That was a very nice timing for the mortar shot. Oh man, like, as I am rewatching this match, it was very intense. Holy shit. The mortar even connects because he played his Tesla too close to it. And yeah, I think that's a dub right there. I play my mortar here, like, you can see how many troops he has on the field. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. You can't defend the wall breakers in any way at all. So I had to play my mortar there just to tank for the wall breakers, which is a -2 trade. That's why this matchup is so difficult. And yeah, of course I have to be MM, because fuck this deck, right? Yeah, that's 6 wins in a row on ladder. It's pretty good, pretty cool to see. And yeah, after that we get for the 7th win, which is against P.E.K.K.A. Bridgepan, but this version has Fireball. Now I'm not sure what you guys think. Royal API seems to think that the Poison version is better, and I think I kinda agree with it. Like, the Fireball version is kind of easier for me to defend. I'll go over this very quickly because I don't think it was like that exciting of a match. I didn't get overwhelmed at all. I pretty much played this by the book. So he didn't zap there, he didn't zap my Spear Gobs, which if he did that, this match would have maybe been a lot closer. But it's not gonna be very close at all. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna... Like, okay, here's the thing that maybe I should show you guys. You can defend a bandit when you don't have anything else in cycle. Or like, even when you do, I had the knight, but you can defend a bandit with a mortar by not making it dash, because you're pressuring at the same time and you're keeping your knight for the ghost. As I said, the most important thing in this matchup is that you have your knight for their ghost. And here goes for a pretty nice push, but it still doesn't overwhelm. It's very easy to defend. And yeah, okay, here is the worst thing that I made, that I did. I played my mortar too much to the right. I should have played one tile to the left. So the battle ram connects, and that could have been very bad. That could have been very bad. In fact, I think he gets back into the damage lead here. So yeah, that was not a good mortar. That was like my first mistake on this game. It's still fine. I can still play the mortar there. And I don't think he overwhelms me here. Yeah. So like, since he's focusing so much on offense, look at that Skelly Barrel. They're gonna have to tunnel vision on offense. And since I distracted his Magic Archer with my Mortar, look how much damage that Skelly Barrel got. That's like a lot of damage from the Skelly Barrel. Simply because of that Mortar. If I didn't distract the Magic Archer there with my Mortar, the Skeletons would have just died immediately. But now I have to do a very hard defense because of the fact that I sold out on offense. Works out kinda well. I still have to play a Knight here. So I'm not necessarily behind the Elixir, especially now that he played his Bandit. But that was risky. That was kinda risky. It's fine though, because now I'm just like 2 logs, 1 Fireball away from winning. I still don't go for it because, you know, if you sell out too much on offense, they're gonna overwhelm you. It is a bridge spam deck after all. But now I think I go for the... yeah, I go for the Fireball. I'm only missing 1 Fireball to win. I go for a Skelly Barrel so that they still have to answer that, because if he gets death damage, they lose. And I get back to my Fireball. So, yeah. It would have been easier to like cycle 2 logs instead of 2 Fireballs, but... you know, as long as they don't overwhelm you, it's fine. And that is 7 wins in a row, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. 7 wins in a row. Let's go for the 8th win, which is like against pretty much a troll deck. Like, look at this shit. It's Hog Rider 1.9 average elixir. Like, are you for real, man? It's not like necessarily an easy matchup, because like, as like the faster a hog deck is, the harder it is to defend, because you can't have your mortar every time for defense. But this guy has no spells, so he can't pre-log my Goblin Gang. He can't fireball my Musketeer. That's pretty much why I won this one. So yeah, I'ma just shut up for a bit, let you guys enjoy this gameplay, because it's kind of beautiful, honestly. I'ma just shut up, yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about that fireball. Or about this fireball that I'm gonna do. Oh my god, I miss so many firecrackers. But yeah, sorry I didn't really commentate that matchup. It's like it's not really necessary to commentate it. It ended up being like super close, but you know he can't spell cycle me. He has no spells. So yeah, interesting deck. I wouldn't really even know what to say about it. It shouldn't be too hard to win. It really shouldn't. I made a lot of mistakes and I still won. So yeah. Let's go over a real deck now. This is just a troll deck. Alright. And yeah, I think we're at 7 wins right now. No, wait. We're at 8 wins, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Okay, so we're in the last 2 games, and we got a pretty good matchup and a pretty bad matchup. Both of those decks are very popular. Hog Troop N6 is the most popular deck in the game, and the new E-Giant is, well, the most popular E-Giant deck. I think it's like top 5 most popular decks. But yeah, this is like pretty much the easiest matchup that you're gonna find in this meta. Like there's of course easier, like the 3M deck and Classic Bait and Prince Log Bait, but they're not as popular as this one. I mean, Classic Log Bait is, but you're not gonna find it on top ladder that much. Well, this deck is like everywhere, and it's pretty easy too. The Hog Troop in 6 though is gonna be the real piece of resistance. Is that how you say it? You know, the big deal of this video. Like winning that Hog Troop and 6 matchup is pretty much what prompted me to record this in the first place. So yeah, you can still lose against New E-Giant if you like cycle your mortar at the wrong time, or if you allow them to build too big of a push, or if you are not aggressive enough and you allow them to like just lightning cycle you throughout the whole game. Those are the 3 ways that you lose this. You can only lose this matchup if their E-Giant connects to your tower because your mortar is not in cycle, or it bypasses your mortar. And that is the first way to lose this match. The second way is if you allow them to build a huge push, which is by giving their troops too much value. So like they kill your musketeer and they kill all your goblins, and now you have nothing, and they have like 10,000 troops. And that is the second way to lose this matchup. And the third way is if you just turtle up. You're like, okay, I don't want them to build a huge push, so I'm just gonna play defensive mortars after defensive mortars after defensive mortars. I'm gonna like play musketeers on top of musketeers on top of musketeers, and they're just gonna like take the lightning value every time, and it's gonna go down to the tiebreaker, and you're gonna lose because they played like 5 lightnings on your tower and you never went aggressive. So it's a very tight balance. You have to go aggressive, but not so much that they can just ignore it and go opposite. You don't go aggressive with a mortar. If you do, you go aggressive with a mortar in the middle, if the E-Giant is in cycle. So then they can't just go opposite lane and ignore it. But yeah, you gotta try to like get at least one mortar connection. So see, if I played that mortar on the right instead of on the in the middle, that E-Giant would have definitely connected to my tower. But by playing it in the middle, I'm pressuring. In fact, the mortar even connects, but the E-Giant cannot get to my tower. So yeah, I get 2 mortar shots out of that. He's trying to go for all 3 of the ways that you can lose this match. He's trying to lightning cycle me, he's trying to go for E-Giant opposite lane. But since I am using my own tips here, I am not getting overwhelmed or lightning cycled. So yeah, every time you can, like this goes for every single matchup, not just for this one. Every time you can, just put a Skelly Barrel on top of your musketeer when your musketeer is coming back from the defense. It makes it a lot harder for them to defend. They can't ignore that. The only situation where I wouldn't do that is if they have bomb tower or something like that. That would be pretty bad. But other than that, It's always a good move, almost always. So yeah, I go for another mortar in the middle. Here I'm giving him a lot of lightning value. If he took that, I would have had to cycle back to my next mortar. So yeah, he takes the lightning value, but it's like way too late. I'm already back to my other mortar, and I already got value out of those cards. Here I have to go for a low Muskie, because that Mother Witch is gonna get a lot of value. So yeah, by this point I pretty much already won. I just have to not allow him to outcycle my mortars, which almost happened. Almost happened. It's too hard for them though to outcycle your mortars, because their cycle is a lot slower. So yeah, this is the 9th game in a row that I won on top ladder. And by this point, I am 1 win away from the top 1k. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get this one more win so I can make a video about it, getting back into the top 1k by winning 10 games in a row. And I see this deck. And as soon as I saw the cards, like I think he played Ice Spirit first and then Cannon or something. As soon as I saw those cards, I was like, oh fuck. This could be two things. Yeah, Ice Spirit and Log. This could be two things. Either it's X-Bow or it's Hog. If it's Hog 2.6, I'm dead. And then he plays the Cannon. And I'm like, fuck. I'm gonna lose my win streak here. Hog 2.6 is like one of the worst matchups in the game. How am I ever gonna win this? Well, here's how you win. against Hog 2.6 on top ladder. If you have your mortar, play your mortar there. The Hog is not gonna reach your tower. If you don't have a mortar, which you're most definitely not gonna have if they're playing right, because their cycle is faster than yours, so they can get back to their Hog before you get back to your mortar, then it becomes a lot trickier. It becomes a lot trickier to defend their Hogs. And that's why it's such a good matchup. I played my Excalibur in the back, and that is the only way that you can, break through here. I had to play a Firebow and a Knight and a Log for that, because he put a Ice Golem on top of his Hog, and since I didn't have my Mortar in cycle, that would have been like very hard to defend. But yeah, like usually if they go for Naked Hog and you don't have Mortar in cycle, you can like either Knight plus Fireball or Spear Goblins plus Fireball. But those are all negative trades, and they also require pretty tight timing. So yeah, here I played my Mortar up, so that was not necessarily a good thing, because now I am very down on Elixir. I think he's like 4 Elixir ahead of me now, because I had to play the Knight as well, so the Hog wouldn't connect. And as you can see, I'm getting damage. The reason I'm getting damage, which shouldn't usually happen in this matchup, is because I'm playing my Skeleton Barrels in the back. He cannot play his cannon, because then I'm gonna outcycle his cannon by playing my next Excalibur immediately after. And you can see, like here, I go for a ballsy thing. I go for Goblin Gang plus Log. If he pre-logged there, I would have lost. There would have been no way for me to defend that Hog. He would have gotten too much damage, and he could have just spell cycled me out. But he didn't, and that's why I won. Because look, now I can go for that Skelly Barrel. He doesn't have the cannon in cycle. I outcycled the guy with 2.6 average elixir, even though my deck has 3.1 average elixir. And that's just because I played that barrel in the back. So that is the only way that you can get damage in this match. And otherwise you gotta pretty much just spell cycle them more than they spell cycle you, which is very hard, because their cycle is of course faster than yours. Here I don't even wait for the next barrel, I just fireball his cannon to get back to my mortar and to make my Excalibur connect. And here if they log it, you always get the dash damage, which is 160 damage, and that can make a big difference in a match like this. I'm already like spell cycling, like cycling my logs and stuff, because like this is still very close. Like it might look, I have more than 1000 damage ahead. I'm chilling, right? No, you're never chilling in this match. You always have to stay super careful. I get both Musketeers with a Fireball there, which is pretty good. But you always have to be super careful. You have to always have your Mortar in hand when they have their Hog. And when you don't, you gotta have something. Like look, I don't have my Mortar here. What do? I have to cycle 3 cards. Cycle back to my Mortar, and he's gonna have his Hog back, so I already have to be thinking, okay, how am I gonna defend the next Hog? That's gonna be hard. Well, you defend the next hog by always having troops down on the field. So if they play their hog, they're playing their hog in a musketeer, in a knight, in a goblin gang, you know? So he's gonna go for his next hog here, right? Yeah, but by this time I already have my mortar back. And I can go for a mortar up high, because then he doesn't get fireball value. And I still have a musketeer down on the field, so the hog is still gonna die. You don't want to go for a high mortar if the hog is gonna stay alive. But as long as you have like even one troop, the hog is not gonna stay alive and you can go for a high mortar. So yeah, here we're getting like to the tiebreaker, and if you win this matchup with mortar, it's always gonna go down to the tiebreaker. You're never gonna win this before the tiebreaker. I am just 1000 damage ahead. You can see like if we stay neutral, like we're staying right now, where I don't connect and he doesn't connect, he slowly gains on me, because he can cycle his spells faster than I can. So you have to get a damage advantage, otherwise you lose. That's why this is such a hard matchup. And yeah, that pre-log was also super good. It allowed my musket to get one more shot. So it wasn't even close in the end. It's like, it's such a hard matchup, but I played this super well. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but that was very well played. And that is 10 wins in a row. 10 wins in a row on top ladder. Now, I know that you guys like live matches, so I might, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna go for one more live match, and we're gonna see if I can bring this to 11 wins in a row. If I don't, I'm probably just gonna cut it. So yeah, in case the video ends now, then you know what happened. You know, see you on the next one. But in case it doesn't, in case you're here right now, that means that I kicked Marcel's ass for that 11th win in a row. And yeah, I have a pretty awkward starting hand. Oh my god, is this another Hog 2.6? That would be very, very bad. I mean, it's even worse if it's Hog EQ, so... Oh, it's Hog Mega Knight. Alright. This is fine. This is fine. Yes, I have to fireball that. But this is still very fine. This is very, very fine. Okay. That Ewis is gonna get some damage on my tower, but that could have gone a lot worse. Now I know what deck is running, so I can adapt my playstyle. And yeah, I'm gonna just cycle Excalibur, I think, so that I'm ready for his next hog. Oh wow, he has a P.E.K.K.A too. P.E.K.K.A Mega Knight hog. Okay, this is... I'm gonna need to stack a lot of musketeers. I hope he doesn't have like big spells. I can play my mortar here, because even if he goes hog opposite lane, I can push it with a goblin gang. I need my musket to survive. Okay, I'm gonna go for a goblin gang here. That was a very good hog. Oh, I really need my musket to survive. I really need my musket to survive, please. Okay, the musket survives, the hog gets 2 hits. Not more, nice. And this is gonna be one of those matches where I pretty much have to stack musketeers forever and ever, or I die. Oh my god, this is gonna be harsh. He has arrows zap, so he cannot kill my musketeers. Yeah, I pretty much have to wait until double elixir or triple elixir and just stack as many musketeers as possible. That's the only way that I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna go for a mortar. How is he gonna distract this? Okay, he has Scar Me. That's interesting. Okay, play your first musketeer. He's probably gonna play a Mega Knight on top of this. So I'm gonna go for a Knight. Okay, I need to fireball this. And I need to distract all of this. Okay, this is horrible. This is... Oh my god. How am I supposed to defend this shit? How am I supposed to defend this shit? What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Okay.